Ladies and gentlemen, an acquittal is possible, and I'll explain why. The jury knows that Sussman is telling the truth to a certain extent. The truth is that there was a grandiose plot against Trump. Everybody was in on it, including James Baker, Comey's top attorney at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The technicality within the trial was that the text message wasn't part of an indictment. The text message, because of the statute of limitations, could not have been obtained. They couldn't obtain a superseding indictment with utilizing that text message. The text message actually stating a lie, that Sussman was coming on his own, not on behalf of a client. The jury knows that he lied. The problem is the jury doesn't know if he lied during the actual conversation with James Baker, which is why I would never want to be on a jury, because these technicalities are absurd. Of course he lied. This is why you have major problems with juries and with the legal system. These are ridiculous technicalities that I understand. There's, real, philosophical and ideological reasons why they exist, pertaining to the Constitution and the law. But, sorry, we know that Sussman lied. We know that Durham has a pretty clear-cut case. The issue is that the jury was instructed to only base their decision on the actual discussion that they had on September 19th, not the text message the day before, because of a procedural issue pertaining to the statute of limitations. So they found the text message after they had indicted Sussman. So that's what it was. They found the text message after they had indicted Sussman. They couldn't add that text message where he blatantly lies within the indictment, but the jury had already seen it. So the jury already knows, but they were told by the judge to not base their decision on that text message, again, which is absurd, but it's a technicality that could acquit Sussman. So Michael Sussman could get the acquittal. It's a D.C. jury, numerous people, one person, actually, I believe, knows him, okay? So it's I don't know how the judge allowed this jury. I mean, you wouldn't get such beneficial, anyone associated with Trump wouldn't get any Trump supporters on a jury. I can tell you that right now. But the technicality, the fact that they have to actually believe that Sussman duped and deceived James Baker, which, in this case, the defense of Sussman is telling the truth. They were all in on it. Of course James Baker, Comey's top attorney at the Bureau, knew. Of course he knew. They all knew. They didn't care. That's the point. That's why the acquittal will lead to more indictments, almost certainly of Sussman and others. You cannot do what Mark Elias and Sussman and all these people at Glenn Simpson and Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele and all these people, you can't go ahead and funnel lies, knowingly funnel information that you knew was false, with the intent of getting a government agency simply to investigate your direct political rival. This has nothing to do with opposition research. Like Sussman's defense team is, opposition research, if that was a crime, that, you'd have prisons full of Democrats and Republicans. No, it has nothing to do with opposition research. Opposition research is never used to initiate investigations. And if it is, it certainly isn't used by Republicans or Trump Republicans to initiate investigations of Democrats. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. I have a very important segment today. Numerous segments on the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash channel below. In the pinned comment, go to the description of every one of my segments, including this one. In September of 2021, I was telling everybody that the market is going to tank and crash, and it is, unfortunately. Now I'm telling everybody Bitcoin's going to crash to 10,000 or below, and I said that in January of 2022, of this year. And I said it was going to crash in September. The links to the videos are within the description section. So hit subscribe to my 2 other channels below in the pinned comment, to my new Patreons. Thank you. If you want to support my work, if you enjoy my viewpoint, my writing, my YouTube channels, go to the Patreon below. Your support is so greatly appreciated. To my new Patreons, thank you. $2, $5, $10, whatever you want to give, your support is greatly appreciated. I'll have a live stream today, not sure when, but be here for the live stream. Check the channel every couple hours or so. And ladies and gentlemen, become a member of this channel if you want to give a super thanks. The super thanks is below. He might get acquitted. So, or there could be a hung jury and a retrial. A hung jury, mistrial, and a retrial, or he'll get acquitted. If he gets acquitted, then John Durham sinks his teeth or like digs his heels in and, goes for the home run. You can't always, if you're always just kind of going for the single or the bunt, might not work. Sometimes you have to swing for the fences. And the fact that it's interesting because the mainstream, like CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, they'll be like, see, we won, see? There was a reason to set up and frame Trump, because Clapper and Brennan thought that, Trump was installed by the Kremlin, so yay, we won. This is actually not a good thing for top bureau officials who've been kicked out of that government agency, or other, like a whole bunch of people involved. From Comey to Andrew McCabe to Strzok to Sussman to all these people. If Sussman is acquitted, which could happen, then what takes place is that Durham says, okay, I'm going to go for 18 U.S. Code 371. Type in H.A. Goodman, Federalist. You can see my author page on the Federalist. And I wrote a number of articles on the Durham Probe Special Counsel, one of which was Comey and McCabe should be charged under 18 U.S. Code 371. You can't simply hide behind bureaucracy and say, well, we have to investigate Trump, because, he was installed by the Kremlin, or the Steele dossier said that he did a lot of bad things associated with a hostile foreign country. There was no evidence at all. There's no evidence, not a shred of evidence. They cheated Bernie Sanders, then they blamed another country for letting us know. This is they're despicable. But the jury once, almost certainly, will say, okay, the judge said only look at that meeting. They're friends. They're friends. Everyone knew that Sussman worked for the Bureau. Apparently, Baker had changed his tune in testimony prior. Everybody knew that Sussman worked for the law firm One. And everyone knew that Sussman and Elias and all those people were operatives of the Clinton campaign. They were political operatives. They were attorneys, but really they were political operatives, okay? And the way that the Clinton campaign and Democrats work is that they know they have media, so they can engage in the dirtiest tactics possible. And they can infiltrate government agencies because they know they have government operatives on their side. Comey was just finished stating that Clinton didn't have intent. When he wrote the Comey letter, that's because the scandal was so absurd and egregious and all, such a damaging issue to national security that with yet again, classified data with Uma Abedin and all that stuff. So he wrote the Comey letter saying, if you win, I have the goods on you. It wasn't about... he's the one who tanked Clinton's campaign. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't the DNC emails. But Comey had the goods on everybody. He went after Trump and then wrote that Comey letter because he covered up the top secret and special access program intelligence on servers running outside the United States government. He covered all of that up. But everyone knows this. This is not like rocket science. You'd have to be an imbecile to think there was no intent. He's smart enough to know that. He was the director of the FBI. He did so to cover it up for Clinton. Fine. I still want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. Believe me, nobody will be happier on this planet than a Clinton Trump or Clinton DeSantis. 2024. Because we're still living in 2016. Get ready for a potential acquittal. I'm not predicting anything because I have no clue. I have no clue what's going to take place. There are too many variables. And when I said that the economy was going to tank and recession and stock market collapse, I called that one of the few people on all of YouTube to call that. I really was one of the few people. Some people say, oh, yeah, it's so easy to see. It's no, how many people were saying that, especially in politics? And in finance, I watch a lot of the finance channels, and a lot of them are honest, and they're like, oh, lost this. I was telling everybody, don't get out of the market. I never give investment advice, but I did say in September, I said, if you need the money or if you're about to retire, you have no business being in the market. But anyway, I don't know what's going to happen here. It's not like I was looking in September of 2021, I could tell you pretty clearly the writing's on the wall in terms from a macroeconomic perspective. And I'm telling you also it's going to get much worse in the economy, unfortunately. And within the stock market, Bitcoin is going to crash, unfortunately, to 10,000. Or below. Probably below. But with this, I can't tell you. I don't know. I haven't been right about everything. I'm not clairvoyant, but I don't know. So the acquittal is possible because during that meeting, they knew that during that meeting, James Baker knew that SUSSMAN was funneling information for the Clintons to harm Trump. But Baker didn't care. So all of this is being played out. This entire despicable episode is being played out. Democrats don't care. Even you can have everyone involved in 2016 on their side indicted. They still wouldn't care. They'll still say Trump is a menace to the world. They'll never admit that they set up and framed Trump ever, no matter what. And if you actually show them the evidence, the acquittal in the SUSSMAN trial is literally based on the fact that so many people at the Bureau were just setting up and framing Trump that the jury was like, nah, he couldn't have lied to the Federal Bureau of Investigation because the Federal Bureau of Investigation was in on it. So he couldn't have lied. SUSSMAN could not have lied because Baker and everyone else were just more than happy to accept nonsense and absurd conspiratorial theories and use that against Trump. But see, again, they won't see it that way. I'm just trying to tell you exactly, that if it's an acquittal, it'll lead to more indictments, not less. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Indictments based on 18 U.S. Code 371. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Be on the live stream today. And I have very important segments on the stock market crash and Bitcoin crash channel today. Let's grow those channels.